Welcome to the Illuminati broadcast. I'm your king and your messiah, David Moore. Welcome, welcome. All right, so what's today? I think it's the 3rd. I'm not sure. Could be the 4th. I forgot. Today's Wednesday, so it could be the 4th, I think. Let me just show you what I've been working on real quick. Let's see. So basically, it's just a little bit of a map, you know. So obviously we have our little board here. I've updated it so you can see the symbols on it. It's not complete yet, you know. I still got to color in Mercury, make it yellow here, make the golden sun a little bit more brighter. But we're getting somewhere. And I'm turning the Saturns. I think this is Saturn right here and Saturn right here. I'm turning those silver because obviously it's lead. So, yeah. Let's see real quick. So this is south. This is east. This is north. And this is west. If we're facing south, we're looking towards the south. We notice that the sun will rise. You know, starts getting towards noon in the afternoon. Starts setting towards the west. And then it makes this circle, right? So right here we have the main planets, which would be Mars, the moon, Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, and the sun. And then in the center you have Saturn, Pluto, Neptune. You have Pluto here because I guess the prime meridian, which goes up and down. And then you have Neptune, which represents east and west. That's why it's like an E or a W, and then the P is that pole, right? The north and the south pole. We're gonna look at it this way because, all right, so in the mythology of like the world and how it works, we're inside of a sphere, right? And the sun is rotating around this pole. So in the morning, what we see is the sun rising over here, it going up into the sky and then setting. But in reality, it's moving around in this circle. So there's this pole right here in the middle where the sun is, like where the sky is. And as it's appearing, it'll have different times of the day. So let's see, Libra right here is that pole, right? Because Libra is a scale, so it's that pole energy. And then you have Virgo next. And as it's like moving towards the day, so let's see, like 12 o'clock. So this will be like midnight at night, right? And then 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And that's when you get this solar energy because that's when the sun starts appearing, right? So 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. And this is when the sun is at its peak. Well, so while it's rotating around this little sphere, so what we're seeing is this, the sun rising, setting, rising, setting, but in reality it's going around in this circle from east to west, going north and then south, going around this like pole. So I guess what we see is the sun rising from the east going to the west, right? But in reality it's going around this pole. So it's going like good morning, good night, good morning, good night, good morning, good night. You get this like cool little effect, right? Kind of like a magnifying glass or something. But that's just how you can like interpret this key or chart. And this is still the ephod. This is still the tabernacle. Obviously, if we turn it up here, this is where the Holy of Holies would be. And you obviously get that gold because, you know, yellow is earth. And you have these two princes holding it up. And then in the entrance right here, you have this yellow on the yellow and then this silver for the door. And usually in the Key of Solomon, the moon is used as a way to open a door. And Mercury as well. So that makes sense that Mercury and the moon are next to each other. And then the sun reveals, you know, the truth. Or it can hide the truth as well. So you can use this for a lot of different kind of rituals. But let's talk about the Urim and Thummim. Thummim, Urim and Thummim. So like, let's say you roll it, right? You get a white one. That would be this side, right? Because this is the daytime, this is the nighttime. So you have to pick between one of these two. Roll it again, you get a black. That's the night over here, because this is the morning, this is the evening. So now you roll it again. Boom, you get white. So you end up right here. And then you roll it again, you get black, and you get this one. And then that's like a letter. So if you look closely, you can see one of the Hebrew letters. And that's how they used to interpret things. So people would be like, well, we don't understand how they figured out the letters and all this stuff. Well, this is how they did it. See how simple that was? We roll it again. What do we get? Black. So we know it's going to be on this side. We roll it again. It gets white. So we come over here. I don't know. Maybe we'll say that this is the white side because this is still daytime. And we roll it again and we get black. And it becomes one of these ones. We roll it again. We get white. And it's that first letter. So now you have this letter for fire and this letter for water. So now we have these two letters. But also when you use the key of Solomon, we could see that this would be, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. Okay, wait, this is 36, this is 34, this is 36, 34, 32, 30, 28, 26, 24. So this is 24. Let me make sure. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Yeah, so that's 24. If we look in the Ars Goetia, which I don't have with me right now, there's a spirit for 24. We look at what that could mean, and then we look over here for what this one is. So 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46. 46, 48. And we could see what that means, right? And then you can also go into like Bible prophecies. Let's see, like find out what book 24 is, or 23. Because this is 23, 24. And then this one is the same thing. But and you can even roll for that one too. Like, is it 23 or 24? And you could say 23 is white and 24 is black. Roll it, it's white, so you got 23. So then you look up what the spirit 23 is, or book 23. And you can also interpret it your own way. Like, all right, so let's ask a question. Let's say, like, what do you think about President Trump bombing Iran? So boom, 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 boom. You get black, so it's over here in one of these things. It doesn't mean it's false or true, but then you roll it again, boom, 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 and then you get a white, so you end up here. And then you roll it again, boom, 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 you get a black, so it's on this side. You roll it again, boom, 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 you get a white, and it lands here again. And you can look here and be like, okay, well, it's hitting Scorpio, it's in cups, it's in water, but it's also down here hitting Saturn and Jupiter. So you can say, like, okay, it's hitting these two. Like, okay, first off, we already know that, like, these are kind of like Scorpion, and then this is Cancer right here, and you're getting this like protection kind of thing, like taking care of what's good for you and taking care of what's right. No, I wouldn't say treacherous, because there's nothing treacherous going on, but I would say like he's doing the right thing by protecting people at all costs, or no matter the cost or whatever. Like, he's using his heart and compassion, because he's giving them lots of chances, he's giving them negotiation options, and they don't take them, and then he's like, fine, I'll just bomb you. And that's kind of what a Scorpio would do, right? They'll be like, hey, like, if you know that I'm poisonous, if you keep messing with me, I'm going to stab you with my tail, and then it does, and then you die, and you're like, oh, yeah, scorpions are poisonous, I forgot. So it's kind of like, hey, like, keep, like, just like if you mess with somebody with love, you know, like, they have a heart, and you could be like, oh, I love that person, but I'm going to hurt them. Like, that's not the right thing to do. And that person, you can hurt them so much, and eventually they're going to hurt you back, right? Like, you can't hurt somebody forever without getting payback. Like, there's karma. So that's pretty cool, you know? That's something you could look at. And since it's on the scales, it's like balancing on the heart. So usually Scorpios are right about a lot of things. And they'll put themselves through a lot of pain before they realize that they want something better for themselves. They're willing to go through the pain. But they also need to protect themselves, and if they have enough like emotional security, they'll know, like, bam, I'm just gonna go and attack. I'm not gonna let them push me around or hurt me until I have nothing left. Because imagine, like, America, like, Would you want a president that's gonna like jump in and protect you, or do you want someone that's gonna be like, yeah, let a couple of them die before we decide what's right and wrong, you know? No, you gotta just jump in and do what's right. Sometimes people need to do that. All right. Yeah. There's still more work that needs to be done to like really dive in and understand it, but I think we're getting somewhere, and I think we're figuring things out, like how to use the Urim and Thummim. And you can remember that whatever his name was, Joseph or John, the guy that did the Mormon book, like he did the same thing. He used the same technique. Obviously, he used the Ars Goetia because he was a treasure hunter. Using the Ars Goetia is treasure hunting. You usually use Jupiter's energy to find treasure. That's why it's right here where all the rocks are, all the jewels for Earth, you know, and that material wealth. And that's why it has that yellow energy. Yeah, I'm just really enjoying it, how I'm like making the whole game, and what I want to kind of do is have your character, you roll and your character will land somewhere on the game, and then you can kind of move and navigate your way through the story, and you have to fight whatever creatures are hiding or lurking there, and it kind of has this Jumanji effect where like whatever happens in this game happens in reality, because I want this to be sort of like a divination board. So not only are you working with the tabernacle and divinity and astronomy, you're also working with your own soul, and you're putting it into a game, and you're letting it live and have its own autonomy, but also you're inputting a lot of your own information into it, and you're creating a dynamic or a narrative, and that's really important to have. So yeah, I think I kind of wanted to talk about like the Torah and the Kabbalah, no, the Quran and the Torah, and then the Baal Bible kind of thing. Like, why is that bull so important, you know? In Chinese mythology, you have a Kirin, which is kind of like a Quran, but it's a unicorn, right? And nothing is called what it is for no reason. Like, everything has a reason for what it's called, no matter how far away it could be, because like years and generations of having that word being so sacred and holy, of course it's going to spread all over the globe. So, you know, a Quran, it's the same thing. Cabal, that's why it sounds like bull or ball. But, you know, God is always seen as this bull because he's carrying the sun, you know? Like, that's a lot of weight to carry something so beautiful and to bring that divinity to the world. That's why it's called Torah. You know, like Torah's a Taurus. It's like a scroll. It's the beginning. It starts from the beginning and it gives you a whole story. Just like this. It's always going to be the same thing. So there's no separation between anything. Like, religion's the same all over the world. It all has the same story, has the same ending. There's no religion out there that's unique and different than the other one. But they're also unique in their own way, where they tell the story in their own way. But it's still the same story. It's the same thing that happened. There's nothing different. And those are important things we need to remember, right? Because, like, you're not different than me and I'm not different than you. But at the same time, we all have different values and, like, what we put first and how we see life, you know, could be a little bit different. But it's still going to be the same thing. We need air to breathe. We need food to live, we need water, so you got that air, you got that fire to keep warm, you got that water to drink, and then you got that earth to eat, right? We need those things to survive, we can't just live without them. But at the same time, like, there's this divine plan. I think a lot of conspiracy theories right now, they're saying that military leaders are saying, oh, Jesus is here, and we need to, like, set up the stage for him. And a lot of people are like, well, that's not possible because Jesus needs to do this and do that. And then the American government's just like, no, we're going to just do what we can to get Jesus up on the stage. Like, we don't care what you guys say anymore. We don't need you to say, this is how you do it. This is how it's done. This is how it's supposed to be. Like, no, the American government's like, we're just going to fight and we're going to show you guys that Jesus is real. And yeah, that's me. What's up? Yeah, so since I'm the Messiah, I'm Jesus, whatever, hi. My job is to make it up the world stage, right? And I think another important thing to remember is a lot of Jewish people are like, well, none of the prophets wanted to be prophets. They just are. They just have to be. It's something that they didn't want to do, but they have to be it. And that's kind of like me. Like, I was always like, there has to be another Messiah out there. There has to be somebody else better than me at this. At, you know, ruling the world. There has to be somebody better at it than me. Like, I can't be the best one. I just can't be. And then after time after time after time, I'm like, there is no other Messiah, is there? Like, I couldn't find another one. I was like, no, I just couldn't find another one. And I was like, I don't want to be your Messiah. I'm just going to destroy all the humans. I don't care. And I just turn around and I just keep going, destroying the world. And then, they keep choosing me. They keep choosing me, keep choosing me, keep choosing me. And they're like, we want you as the Messiah. We want you as the Messiah. Like the Jewish people, the Asian people, the Muslims, everything you can imagine. The Christians, the Catholics, they're just like, we choose you, King David. We choose you. And I'm just like, you choose me? You want me to be your Messiah? You want me to prove I'm your God? Like, why do I have to do it? Why do I have to prove it? Why can't you prove it? So I'm just going to train y'all to make me the best, right? And I'm not going to have you push me to be the best. I'm going to have you guys do your best to raise and elevate me. Like, I want to be spoiled and lifted up. Like if you have a baby, like you pick up the baby, you spoil it, you take care of it. I want you guys to do that to me. Like, treasure me, give me that wealth. In Revelations, they're like, all these kings bring all this gold to the Messiah. And they're just like, we worship you. That's what I want. I want them to be like, hey, King David, we got you this gold necklace. Hey, King David, and we're going to give it to you for free. Like, hey, King David, we're going to give you all this stuff for free. Like, this is your world. This is your life. Like, we want to take care of you. Here's your food. Here's your wealth. Here's your abundance. All we want from you is your recognition. Like, and we want to worship you. We want to put you above everything else. That's what I want. So if I don't get what I want, then you humans aren't going to get what you want. Like, it's plain as simple as that. Like, I'm not going to be what you want me to be. I'm not going to fulfill your prophecies. It's going to happen regardless. I'm like the complete prophecy. Like, everything I do is correct. So it's like, come on, bring it on. Because then that's how I'm going to find the non-believers. So also another conspiracy theory is the how they're telling everybody, okay, Jesus is here, right? So, and then you have a lot of other officers that are in the military that are like, that's not Jesus. We don't believe Jesus. It's not real. Like, that's not happening. That's not right. You shouldn't say stuff like that. You shouldn't do that. And then that's good because it lets them know, oh, those are the non-believers. Now we know which ones are the ones that are trying to mess up our game. Like, which ones are trying to mess up the Revelations, which ones trying to mess up Armageddon, because we want Armageddon. So if people are trying to stop Armageddon, that lets you know they're enemies, right? That they're on the losing team, and they don't want to lose. You know why? Because then they have to go to hell. And they don't want to, they just don't want it because they know they have to go through a fight. But if they can lie about it and be like, God's not real, God doesn't exist, or you shouldn't talk about God in the military, or you shouldn't do this, or you shouldn't do that, you're only preventing the inevitable. And that's like your parents going to hit you, and you're just making up all these excuses like, no, Mom, I did this, I did that. No, you can't hit me for all these things. Like, I have good reasons. No, you need to get hit, and that's it. So they're going to get punished, they're going to go to hell, and that's it. But they're going to try their best not to. Because obviously nobody wants to get hurt. But people that die, like in the military, those are heroes because they risk their lives for other people. They risk their lives for themselves and for you to go and turn your back on them and say that they're criminals or monsters for protecting something. Like, you're wrong. And even if you're like on the enemy's team and you're like dying for something, at least you're dying for something. Like, die with some glory, die with some honor. Go to Valhalla or something. Like, at least, like, thank you for like helping us elevate and progress faster to my kingship. Thank you so much. But here we go. We got this beautiful chart. And then I think the important thing to remember is like, the sun's rising. It's going in this arch almost in the sky. It reaches its pinnacle point right here, and then it starts setting. So yeah, you start off in this earth because the sun's like rising. It's touching the sun. It's touching the earth. And the moon as well is right there. Since the sun is rotating on this pillar, that's what creates the moon and the sun. And it's always going around this pillar of air. And they mention it in the Ars Goetia, the Testament of Solomon. And I got my first Quran yesterday. And it was really beautiful, and I know that I've dreamt about it before. I'm having a lot of deja vu about things like that, so I'm like, all right, you know what, I just gotta trust God, like, I gotta trust my higher power. I have to trust my oversoul. Like, it's doing its job. It's your armor, So you have me as your God living on earth, but then you also have that spirit, which is your armor, like your spiritual armor that answers your prayers, that does what you need it to do. As long as you choose me, it's gonna help you. Before I used to give it for free. I used to be like, go ahead, use that spirit, use my spirit, and do whatever you need to do with it. But now I'm just like, nope, you can't use it unless you believe that I'm your Messiah. So if you start noticing things going crazy, it's because of me. All right. Yeah. So we have these Saturns. Obviously we have Zeus, Neptune, Poseidon over here. Uranus, Cronus, Saturn, Kronos. Time, obviously, and then you have Pluto over here. This is Gemini, and this is Gemini right here. So you have like your basic ancient astrology, which is going to be just your basics, which is obviously Apollo, Aries, Artemis, Jupiter, Poseidon, Hermes, Aphrodite, Cronus, and who is this? Pluto, Hades, right? And then you have the next wheel, which is going to be this one. And these are going to be like a lot of the astrological signs. So these, I guess you could say, these are like their children or demigods. And then it passes on to us in a sense, because this is going to be us in the astrology chart, right? Like you're going to be Gemini or Cancer or Leo. But let's see. We have this air in Gemini and this Cancer and Leo, and usually with Pluto, Hades, it's the Elysian Fields. It's both heaven and hell. There's no separation between it. There is obviously a separation, but there's not a different place. It's the same place. It just has different sides to it. So like, you have, the hell side, which is more torturous, which is the earth. Obviously over time, maybe it became more battered. And then towards the north, you have this like heavenly field. That's where people are like, I want to be in the clouds with God. This is that area. But then you're like, I don't want to go to hell, but that's not such a bad thing because that's where all the good stuff grows that you could take to heaven with you, And then you have the Neptune, Poseidon over here with the water energy that goes back and forth. And in the Garden of Eden, they say that there's like a water river that goes from west to east. So it's like it's been established. The rules have been established. Everything's here. The reason I like to work on this stuff is because it helps me see past all the lies people put around themselves, because they put so many shells and excuses on themselves. But this is like, it's a natural thing, and this explains that natural process of that shell. And it also teaches you how to take off the shell and reveal the truth and expose your emotions and your heart and your intentions and be rewarded for those things. A lot of people use it to like hurt or lie or cheat or steal. But the more you work on yourself and this board and your connection with God, me, obviously, you're Jesus Christ, then you get to be able to create a bond, right? And once you create that bond, there's a trust, and then there's a faith, and then there's this recognition that, like, I can do these things and I'll be rewarded for them. And that's really important because nobody wants to do something for nothing. But if you can do something for nothing in a sense where you're doing it for your leader, for somebody that you believe in, they're gonna pay you back. They're gonna find a way to pay you back. They're gonna find a way to make your life better. It's inevitable. It's like karma, right? So you got all these different like laws from different parts of the world, and they're all on here. One board, one rule, one world order, one religion, right? So that's pretty cool. I'm still working on it. I'm still painting it, still having fun with it. I use it to like play Yu-Gi-Oh! I use it to do a lot of things, and it's just a really great way for me to I use it to open portals, We can like open up a Venus portal, like this green portal, and bring out a bull. And you're like, well, how does that work? Okay, so let's think about it. In the Mesopotamian era, they had, the Shamash or something like that. It was this giant bull that can fly. In the Quran, he's like this unicorn that can fly. You just get this idea because Venus is air, so that lets you know it's flight, right? And then you have this bull, so it's some kind of divine bull that can fly, something strong that can fly, this solar entity that can fly, this earthly energy that can fly, something that can move and go get you things and do things for you. So like let's say we're doing a spell, we can make like a flying golem or something, like a portal, and teleport a golem there, just like Rita Repulsa, and bring out some golems, some putty patrols. Yeah, Rita Repulsa is very Kabbalah, very mysticism. That's why they call her the Mystic Mother. She uses a ton of Jewish mythology, and one thing I think I should mention is Greek mythology and Jewish mythology are the same thing. They're not separated. They're just, the Greeks are more ancient than the Jews because the Jews were like, oh, let's become Egyptians. Okay, let's become Greeks now. Like, they just kept going, and they kept growing. But the Jews you have now aren't the Jews that were back then, because the ones that were back then became Christians and Catholics, and now they're here in America, right? They traveled, they were nomads, they liked to move around and establish kingdoms, and then they would have all these kids, and they'll be like, okay, you guys take care of this land, you take care of that land, while we keep going and exploring and creating more. But they're not the same ancient bloodlines, they're just, but it's not a bad thing. It could be a good thing, but at this point in time, like, you can't say you're better than me because I'm more ancient than you. Like, I have the Irish king bloodline, so that means I'm older than any European king. So I have the right to the throne, so, like, it's no contest, right? So we have all these, like, conspiracy theories about Epstein and, like, Prince Andrew and King Charles and things like that. So my job is to get rid of him and be the next king, right? So I gotta use magic, I gotta pray, I gotta use these spirits, and that's cool, right? Because I'm not fighting him with weapons, I'm fighting him with spiritual weapons. So, like, that's like that one thing where they're like, they went against the priest of Baal, and they're like, let's see your God bring down fire from the sky and start this kindling. And I'm like, let's see your God protect you from me, because I am your God. Boom. So that's like the best part, right? Because it's like a way to brag. I love to brag. And that's just who I am. That's me. Like, I'm allowed to be my own God. I'm allowed to be whatever I want to be. Like, you're not gonna transform me. If I'm your Messiah, then I'm not gonna let you guys dictate what I am. I'm gonna tell you who I am, and you guys are gonna have to love it or leave it. And if you leave it, adios. Like, you can exist in the dimension where you suffer for all eternity, and it only brings me pleasure and joy in my life. Because I'm not going to let you be in heaven with me. I'm not going to let you enjoy this earthly heaven. No way. Like, you're not going to live here with me if you're a liar, a betrayer, and you're a hater. If you're against me, you're not going to live here with me. That's period. Let's be real. And, like, I'm getting older. Look at my wrinkles. Like, I don't got time for that. What, you want me to be homeless, living on the streets, disabled, sleeping in a stroller? Hell no. We ain't doing that. We are not doing that. I'm gonna use my magic. I'm gonna whoop all y'all asses with it. And I'm gonna show you who the mother sorcerer is. The head sorcerer, the high priest, the real Jesus. I'm gonna show you who the real God on earth is. Best believe.